Alright, looks like we are recording, and yeah, doing something a little different here. I had the idea that, you know what, I could, look at some public domain horror films and do the heart rate recordings with them. And, an idea like this, which I don't know how much I'll do in the future, but to start off, what better horror movie is there that's public domain to start with than Night of the Living Dead? Like, the classic zombie film. And as I said, it is public domain. So there's the title and also the source. So I'm just going to, if I continue doing this, I'm just going to grab movies from Internet Archive that say that they're public domain. It says it's public domain, so I'm going with that. Alright. Well, let's, should be able to just do that. Takes a little bit to start up, but there we go. Now, some of the films I will not have seen. I have seen this one, actually, a few weeks ago. Just because it was one of those, hadn't seen it yet. Decided, I'm going to watch it, and then I realized later, with this idea that, it means I'm already going to have seen it. Oh well. It's about an hour and 33 minutes long, so this whole thing will be about an hour 34, I guess. And unfortunately, I don't have, horror movie host kind of trivia for it. And as you can see, I don't have the gaze tracker set up. I don't think it's necessary or really appropriate because you are meant to look at this. I think that the heart rate monitor, that's going to be more than enough. But we don't need to figure out where I'm supposed to be looking. Well, if I am looking where I'm supposed to be looking, things like that. But a gaze tracker with movies would make sense to see if the director did a good job, or the director of photography did a good job of getting you to look where they want you. By the way, one other thing. There's actually more than one version, more than one copy up on Internet Archive. The one I'm using is a 1080p version, but they also have another that's not the 1080p. And I think that if I do end up using videos that are smaller, I'll just let it be scaled up. But I'm not going to mess with this. This is being pillow boxed. I'm not going to mess with that. Like zooming in and anything like that. It's like that's just wrong, in my opinion. You don't mess with that. But I will try to have the files that I make be 1080.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, you know that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
I do kind of wonder,
Back on? Oh.
about the whole,
Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen,
but why is
we're coming back on
the father
air
buried
after
so far away?
interruption due to technical problem.
So that's the first hint that there's something going on. I mean, it's just sort of to me, it's like if you move
Nothing wrong
away,
with
it's
the radio.
like you kind of leave
It's
that
been a
behind.
Which
But
row
you
is
should
it
visit
in?
when you go back. Makes sense, but making a special trip out, I don't know. 200 miles? That's a lot. I don't know. But, I mean, you gotta be in a graveyard at some point in horror movies, right? Especially zombie-based ones.
Well, there's no one around.
Well, it's late. If you'd gotten up earlier.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour's sleep on the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk. There it is.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Yep.
Yeah, a little spit and polish. You can clean this up. Sell it next year.
Some of
I
it
wonder how
might
many
be
times we
what they
bought
do.
the same one.
Well, considering you brought that probably from Pittsburgh, probably never. I would think that would stay local, don't you? But it is also, I think you could just,
Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh?
like, contact the graveyard and have the caretaker also put it there. I'm not sure, but I would think that that would exist, especially if you are somebody from, you know, somebody you'd have to be traveling in. That is not how a normal person walks. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hey, I mean praying's for church, huh? Come on.
You have
I
to
haven't
laugh.
seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boy, you be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
Plenty of people
You're
are
still
creeped
afraid.
out by graveyards.
stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny. Oh! No! No! Johnny! Help
I don't recall if it's ever explained in this. We'll see why they would attack the living. Ow. Nice thump. Laminated glass, obviously. I don't know if, you know, like, if it could have been still tempered glass then. I don't know when they started doing it for car windows. I mean, especially a side window like that. That might have just been straight glass. Well, no, not the film. They would have used something different, I would think. The straight glass would have been too dangerous. It's like today they use a candy glass that's takes less energy to shatter. Glass is surprisingly hard. It's brittle though, which is why it's able to shatter like it does, but it really is quite strong. Actually, some researchers I think work on finding ways to make it stronger, so the molecules in it are in more of a crystal, irregular shape. You can get it to be very strong. You can get it to be less chaotic. Movies that you really taught don't run to a stranger's house when you're being chased. Because chances are you'd be able to get somebody to help you. If nothing else, I think they'd be willing to call 911. Because they might be calling 911 to get rid of you too. But horror movies would say, oh no, that's where the monster lives. Then it's also, I would be screaming help. I wouldn't just be knocking on the door. Now, at this point, you should really be worried in this situation, right? Because it's like, what is going on? I just got chased by that person who attacked my brother, and there's nobody here, and there's signs of a struggle. This isn't good. Taxidermy is not cause for fear. That is. I have World War Z, the game. I still need to play it at some point. I can't capture it, at least not easily, because it's Vulkan. Well, no, it doesn't just support Vulkan, it also supports DirectX 11. I don't know. But I think I'd like, well, I bought it not just so that I could do videos, and I bought it also so that I thought, oh, there's more of them. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Your brother was right. Yeah, careful there, you almost cut your own hand. Learn what happened to the homeowners.
All right.
So, not zombie.
Don't worry about him. I can handle him. Probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas. This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try to get out here if we can get some gas. Is there a key? because you've tried this. Do you live here? Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get to where there's some other people.
By the way, Night of the Living Dead is rated R, in case you're wondering.
Maybe we better take some food.
Because,
I'll see if I can find some food.
I saw it explained somewhere. Enough of the gore in it is graphic like that, yeah, at the time it earned itself an R rating. I don't know what it would get today. Then it would also be kind of a disturbing thing to see things re-rated. There's no more blood on my hands.
What's happening?
Oh, you think it's happening?
What's happening?
Two of them.
They don't like light.
There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those two.
I don't
I know you're afraid, but we have
I
to...
don't know! I don't know! What's happening?
Now, neither of them are the old man that we first saw. Pokey and Wendell. That hammer there may prove useful.
No, we're in here now.
Yeah, she's not doing too
Don't
well.
look at it.
I think he said don't. Here, have your friend back. Fortunately, his clothes are flammable. And, oh, no, well, it's not that close to the wood of the porch.
Get some more lights on in this house.
He passed a hammer earlier. He wants just the nail.
Why don't you see if you can find some wood, some boards, something about the fireplace, something we can nail this place up. Oh, God damn! Look, I know you're afraid. I'm afraid too. But we have to try to board the house up together. Now, I'm going to board up the windows and the doors. Do you understand?
Wait a minute.
We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone
That's
comes to rescue
December.
us. But we'll have to work together. You'll have to help
1964?
me. Now, I want you to go in and get some wood so I can board the place up. Do
I
you
don't
understand?
think that the clock changes
Okay.
have ever been in December, have they?
Okay?
Aren't those in November? Wouldn't it be in November? Curious. That could just, be very small, minor, unimportant thing. A little error. Or I just don't know when times changed. 50, 60 years ago. Which would also be true. I'm happy about the fact that basically I don't have a single clock anymore that doesn't automatically update itself. Phones, computers, my watch. It's actually a neat smartwatch. And my clock radio even. That clock updates itself. Unfortunately, it loses a minute over the span of about a month. So it ends up going out of sync, but it still is a 1966. So it still is, it updates for daylight savings time. I kind of wonder if there's anyone out there that keeps a stockpile of enough wood and nails and such that they could board up their house quickly if they needed to. So, like, they didn't need to grab all the stuff, it's just they had it all set. It's like, that's what that hall closet is for. That's the zombie closet. Over there, that's the vampire one. Werewolves down the hall.
Here, I want you to pick out some nails. Pick out the biggest ones you can find. There, this room looks pretty secure. If we have to, we can run in here and board up the doors. Won't be long for those things to be back pounding their way in here. They're afraid now. They're afraid of fire. I found that out. You know a place back down the road called Beekman's? Beekman's Diner? Anyhow, that's where I found that truck I have out there. There's a radio in the truck. I had jumped in to listen to it when a big gasoline truck came screaming right across the road. Well, there must have been 10, 15 of those things chasing after it, grabbing and holding on. Now, I didn't see them at first. I could just see that the truck was moving in a funny way. And those things were catching up to it. The truck went right across the road. Slammed on my brakes to keep from hitting it myself. It went right through the guardrail. I guess the driver must have cut off the road into that gas station by Beekman's Diner. It went right through the billboard, ripped over a gas pump, and never stopped moving. By now, it's like a moving bonfire. Didn't know if the truck was going to explode or what. Could still hear the man screaming. This thing is just backing away from it. I looked back at the diner to see if there was anyone there who could help me. It was when I noticed that the entire place had been encircled. There wasn't a sign of life left except by now there were no more screams.
Never a good sign.
I realized that I was alone with 50 or 60 of those things, just standing there, staring at me. I started to drive. I just plowed right through them. They didn't move. They didn't run or just stood there, staring at me. Just wanted to crush them. They scattered through the air like bugs.
We were riding in the cemetery, Johnny and me. Johnny. We came to put a wreath on my father's grave. Johnny, and he said, "Can I have some candy, Barbara?" We didn't have any. And, oh, it's hot in here. Hot. And he said, "Oh, it's late. Why did we start so late?" And I said, "Johnny, if you'd gotten up earlier, we wouldn't be late." Johnny asked me if I were afraid. And I said, "I'm not afraid, Johnny." And then this man started walking up the road.
Now today, that kind of framing, you'd
He
really
came
think like an arm would
slowly,
reach through the wall and grab
And
her.
Johnny kept teasing me and saying, "He's coming to get you, Barbara." And I laughed at him and said, "Johnny, stop it."
This is
And then
different
Johnny
style of
ran
horror.
away.
More stress
And I
feel.
I
Less
went up
jump
to this
scare.
man, and I was going to apologize.
Why don't you just keep calm?
And I looked up, and I said, "Good evening." And he grabbed me. He grabbed me, and he ripped at me. He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, "Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me!" And he wouldn't let me go. He ripped. And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man. And I got so afraid. I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny.
Yeah, that's not quite the plan at the moment.
We better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please, don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him. Please! We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh.
That sounded more like a slug than a slap, but it still is. She was, into that hysterical mode where it's like, movies tell us you slap him then. According to movies, it takes him out of this. In this case, it kind of took out of consciousness. It's not necessarily a bad result, but wants her to be comfortable, not over. That is a radio. For anyone that wasn't, they used to be
Because
that
of the
big.
obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations
Sorry, I
throughout
just need
this
to
part of the
shift my
country
chair in
are
case the
pooling their
outbreak went
resources
weird.
through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. At this hour, we repeat, these are the facts as we know them. There is an epidemic of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages, cities, rural homes, and suburbs with no apparent pattern or reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden, general explosion of mass homicide. We have some descriptions of the assassins. Eyewitnesses say they are ordinary-looking people. Some say they appear to be in a kind of trance. Others describe them as being
We don't know now. Why'd you have to go away?
So, at this point, there is no really authentic way for us to say who or what to look for and guard yourself against. Misshapen monsters. Reaction of law enforcement officials is one of complete bewilderment at this hour. So far, we have been unable to determine that any kind of organized investigation is yet underway. Police, sheriff's deputies, and emergency ambulances are literally deluged with calls for help. The scene can best be described as mayhem. Mayors of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Miami, along with the governors of several eastern and
Now,
midwestern
depending
states,
on what that's made out of, it will burn
may be
very
mobilized
nicely.
at any moment, but that has not happened as yet. The only advice our reporters have been able to get from official sources is for private
Because
citizens
some of the
to stay
plastics
in
that are
their
used in
homes
modern
behind locked
furniture
doors. Do not venture outside
will
for any
basically
reason
come back
until
as
the
their own
nature of this
accelerants.
crisis has been determined, and until we can advise what course of action to take. Keep listening to radio and TV for any special instructions as this crisis develops further.
This may sound weird, but I do actually wonder, what is the proper way to make a torch?
Are being urged to stay at their places of employment.
Because, I mean, this
not to make any attempt to
doesn't
get to
make
their
much
homes.
sense how he's doing
in
it right
spite
now.
Of this urging and warning,
Because,
streets and highways
at least to me, it
packed
doesn't.
with
Because
frantic
wouldn't the
people
fabric
trying
just
to reach their
burn
families,
off?
or
Whereas
apparently
if
flee
he had, like,
just
put
anywhere.
some of the lighter fluid on it, or some other liquid on there, then that would burn first, and the fabric would act just as a wick. Well, but then it's also easy for a you can see the fabric has been burning away. But it's like, you know, a torch, like what you see in video games and in some other films. It seems like it's multiple layers of fabric,
Ladies
and
and
they have
gentlemen, we've
something
just
like tar
received word
in
that
each
the
layer.
President has called a meeting of his cabinet to deal with the sudden
His tar
epidemic
would,
of murder which has
would
seized
burn.
the eastern third of this nation. The meeting is scheduled to convene within the hour. Members of the presidential cabinet will be joined by officials of the FBI and the Joint Chiefs behind closed doors. The White House spokesman, in announcing this conference, says there will be an official announcement as soon as possible following that meeting.
His
This
heart
is
rate
the
goes
latest
warm.
dispatch just received in our newsroom. Latest word also from National Press Services in Washington, D.C. now tells us that the emergency presidential conference, which we've just mentioned, will include high-ranking scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That's the extent of this
Is
latest
this another door?
members of his cabinet,
Could it
the
be?
FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and scientists from NASA within the hour. All radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country,
He's working on that.
one to which you were listening, have joined their facilities in an emergency network to bring you this news as it develops. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and TV and to stay indoors at all costs. Late reports reaching this newsroom tell of frightened people seeking refuge in churches, schools, and government buildings, demanding shelter and protection from the wholesale murder which apparently is engulfing much of the nation. Law enforcement officials are at a loss to explain or, even at this hour, even to theorize about the reasons for this wave of murder. So far, the advice we are able to give the public is something that Police Chief T.K. Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina, was quoted as saying, quote, "Tell the people for God's sake to get off the streets. Tell them to go home and lock their doors and windows up tight. We don't know what kind of murder-happy characters we have
See,
here."
smoking will kill you more than
Chief
zombies will.
Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina. So far,
'Cause zombies
the
aren't
only
real.
descriptions, the only clues anyone has of the killers come from frightened witnesses to some of the slayings. These eyewitness accounts variously describe the murderers as ordinary-looking people, misshapen monsters, people who look like they're in a trance, and things that look like people but act like animals. Some eyewitnesses tell of seeing victims who look as though they had been torn apart. This whole ghastly story began developing 2 days ago with the report of the slaying of a family of 7 in their rural home near Gulfport, Louisiana. Since then, reports of such senseless killings began snowballing in a reign of terror which has hopscotched in an erratic, disconnected manner throughout much of the eastern.
I get that this is 66, but it's still really used, you know, a gun safe.
Seem to indicate a
storage.
general spreading from the extreme southeastern United States to the north and west. Our newsmen have been on the telephone talking with officials in other cities and have determined that none of this kind of mass murder has yet been reported west of the Mississippi River, except in the extreme southeastern portion of Texas. Similar killings have been reported around the Houston and Galveston areas, but nothing like...
I found a gun and some bullets out there.
It was only late yesterday
Oh,
that
and
it
these.
first became clear we were facing some kind of national emergency. When first reports began filtering in, newsmen and law enforcement agencies were of the opinion
This
that
place is
killings
boarded up pretty solid now.
in nature. However, as the
Well,
We ought to be all right here for a
That
while.
window behind you,
it was
but,
soon apparent
you know.
We have
this
the
was
gun
something
and
more than the
bullets.
usual run of lawlessness.
Food and the
Some
radio.
officials began to suspect an obscure kind of conspiracy.
Sooner or later, someone's
Things as
bound to come and get us out.
creatures from outer space. So again, we join with law enforcement agencies urging you to seek shelter in a building. Lock the doors and windows securely.
Hey, that's us. We're doing all right.
Be cautious of any suspicious strangers. And keep tuned to your radio and television for survival instructions and further details of this continuing story.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me,
Goes on in the absence of any law.
but I'm going upstairs now.
It's almost as though some critical balance of
If anything should try to break in here, I can hear it from up there. I'll be down to take care of it.
savage killers. We repeat, this radio station.
Everything is all right for now. I'll be back to reinforce the windows and doors later. But you'll be all right for now, okay? Okay.
Dateline on this report is Cumberland, Maryland. Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Which we already know from that. Which he decides to right now. Like I said, I have some. And it was just maybe a month. No, actually might have been 1 month ago.
Consistent reports from witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill.
Crazy.
And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you, reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder.
Don't shoot! We're from town. A radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that
this guy's acting is just great, isn't it?
Being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
how long you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How are we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody ever needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on from down there.
We thought we could hear screams, but for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house afterward.
And you wouldn't come up and help?
Well, if there were more...
The racket sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How were we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this?
Mister, we came up. Okay, we're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood?
Where did he get the machete?
His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we could fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1,000,000 windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there are that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fixed it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows,
It's not a machete,
if a
it's just a
rescue party did
bent
come, we
piece of
wouldn't even
metal.
know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to. And if we do decide to stay down there, we'll need some things from up here. So let's at least consider this a while.
I take the record player.
If you box yourself in the cellar and those
Hand
things go in the
power,
house,
so-
you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Some entertainment. Ah, there he is. I haven't seen him for a while. First one.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
There's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
Yeah, they got interesting with their special effects. That would roughly be where the heart is.
Harry?
And he don't care.
Harry, what's happening?
It's all right.
Quite a collection. Eat the Nightcrawler.
We gotta fix these boards.
You're crazy. Those things are going to be at every window and door in this place. We've got to get down into the cellar.
Go down in your damn cellar. Get out of here!
I'm taking the girl with me.
You leave her here. Keep your hands off her. And everything else that's up here, too. Because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane. He's insane. We've got to have food down there. We've got a right.
This is your house.
We've got a right.
You going down there with him?
Well,
Yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
Listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly. I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket and those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid that her old man is so stupid. Now, you get the hell down in the cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
You bastards. You know, I won't open this door again. I mean it.
Mr. Cooper, with your help, we could...
With my help.
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Wait a minute. Judy, come on up here, honey.
You're gonna let them get hurt too, huh?
It's all right, honey. Go ahead. If we stick together, man, we can fix it up real good. There's lots of places we can run to up here. Mr. Cooper, we'd all be a lot better off if all three of us were working together.
Hey. Hey, kid. He's wrong, you know. I'm not boxing myself in down there.
Yeah, but it still sounds like you're trying to convince yourself a little.
Well, we're safe now. It's boarded up tight.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there, let them. There are two other people upstairs, a man and a girl.
We heard you screaming.
Yeah, but I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
All different reactions to fear. All very human, though.
Is she all right?
I don't know what it is. She feels warm. Maybe it's shock.
Where'd you get the bandage?
Some laundry in a basket. I tore a sheet.
Let them stay upstairs. Let them. Too many ways those monsters can get in up there. We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
To be right, everybody else to be wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Does anyone up there know why we're being attacked?
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's some kind of mass murder. It's going on everywhere. The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some
You're
kind
married.
of
You need to be
communication.
more afraid of your wife
If the
than those
authorities
zombies.
know what's happening, well, they'll send people for us to tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon? We may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. Those people aren't our enemies.
Mr. Cooper! Mr. Cooper, Ben found the television set upstairs.
Let's go up. Tom?
Yeah.
If Judy would come downstairs for a few minutes, Harry and I could come upstairs.
Okay, yeah, right away.
Will you do it?
Do I have to?
Look, honey, nothing's gonna get done with them down there and us up here. Do this, for me.
Okay.
Okay, open up.
You know, one thing kind of neat to me with the importance of the radio and of the television is that today there are people that push for taking away some of the spectrum, the wireless spectrum that's used, broadcast spectrum that's used for television and radio, mainly television, to use it for Wi-Fi.
I'll take good care of her, Helen.
And it's just really funny to me because they want to do this to improve public access to information. So they're doing that by taking away from the thing that has for decades provided completely free access to public information. Because television broadcast, it's free. You just need television and antenna and power. And that's it. Radio. It's just radio, and well, plenty of those have the antenna internal or at least attached. So it's like... But no, let's get rid of that. So that now you need special hardware in way of a Wi-Fi system that can do that, and yeah, it just...
I gotta go help Ben with the television.
It's so sick. Because it is legitimately that people say, oh, we want to improve the ability for people to get information. It's like, and you're taking away a method that has worked for decades. That's how you think this should work? What? Yeah.
Don't be afraid of me. I'm Helen Cooper, Harry's wife.
This place is ridiculous. Look at this. There's a million weak spots up here. Give me one of those.
Her brother was killed.
How does she know that? I don't remember. Did Ben
Talk about
say?
these windows. I can't see a damn thing. There could be 50 million of those things out there. That's how much good these windows are.
Why don't you do something to help somebody?
Here, I have it. Drag a couple of those chairs together.
There's a socket over here. You better watch this and try to understand what's going on. I don't want anyone's life on my hands.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't want to hear any more from you, mister. If you stay up here, you take orders from me. And that includes leaving the girl alone.
It's on, it's on.
There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not
Antennas of that style we call rabbit.
Mass hysteria. What do they think we're imagining
It's not
all
that I'm
this?
that old, it's that I grew up around some equipment like this.
wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being
We
committed
think
by
there's some
creatures
people out there that
feast
wouldn't
upon
know
the
what
flesh of their
rabbit
victims.
is.
First eyewitness accounts of this grisly development came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent. Officials and newsmen at first discounted
That's
those
Motorola
eyewitness
television.
descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted. And medical examinations of some of the victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured. I think we have some late word just arriving, and I'll interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact. When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue stations with food, shelter, medical treatment, and protection by armed National Guardsmen. Stay tuned to the broadcasting stations in your local area for this list of rescue stations. This list will be repeated throughout our news coverage. Look for the name of the rescue station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible.
So we have that truck. If we can get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
I know, that's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
Called this afternoon by the President. Since convening this conference of the Presidential Cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA has not produced any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an earthbound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answer to
Why
that
not?
question centers on the recent Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you'll recall, started back to Earth, but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and then was purposely destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it. Could that radiation be somehow responsible for the wholesale murders we're now suffering?
No, but
Newsman Don
it's
Quinn
science fiction
in
movie.
Washington has
It works.
posed those questions.
It's obvious our best move is to try to get out of here.
How are you going to get over to that pump?
Look.
You're coming from a meeting regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right?
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting.
You feel there is a connection between this and the phenomenon?
There's a definite connection. A definite connection.
In other words, you feel that the radiation on the Venus probe is enough to cause these mutations?
There was a very high degree of radiation.
Well, just a minute. I'm not sure that that's certain at all. I don't think that has been
logical
irrefutably
explanation
proved.
that we have at this time.
In other words, it is the military's viewpoint that the radiation is not the cause of the mutation.
I can't speak for the entire military at this time, gentlemen.
This seems to be...
I must disagree with these gentlemen presently until this is irrefutably proved.
Everything is being done that can be done.
We'll have to hurry for our next meeting.
Professor, you feel that there is a definite connection between
Definite connection as far as Dr. Keller and myself.
Doctor, please. I thought we decided that is not proved yet.
Was the satellite, when the satellite was exploded?
An unusual amount of radiation, enough to cause
Isn't
mutation.
it kind of, I get it.
Could have
not a very high budget film, but it's like, what an idea that there's only like 3 reporters.
Will there be a reply for the
Later?
Yes.
There will be a reply.
Yes.
Later this afternoon.
I mean, today there would be so many it would be
There will be a
ridiculous.
report this afternoon.
Well, perhaps there will
Yes,
be a report,
yes.
a more
Later.
full report. Will you close the window?
We are doing everything possible to solve the problem.
We're hoping to get some further explanation of this.
We've heard all we need to know. We have to try to get out of here.
He said the rescue stations have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get Kenner in there, we could get help for her.
Belno is one of the world's foremost authorities on space science and technology.
Willard. I saw a sign that said Willard.
Any moment.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around here?
Judy and I are both from around here. We were on our way up to the lake to go swimming, and Judy had a radio, and we heard the first reports about this. So we knew the
Such
old house was
amazing.
here, and we came in and found the lady upstairs dead. Then these
To be
other
fair,
people
acting
came.
is not
We went down into the
necessarily
basement,
easy. I mean,
put a bar across
don't
the
know if
door,
I
and
could
it is
do it.
pretty strong.
How could we possibly get away from here? We've got a sick child, 2 women, 1 woman out of her head, 3 men, and the place is surrounded with these things.
Fairfield for NASA. Dr. Grimes, your entire staff, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to these things that are happening. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way. We don't know yet what complications might result from such injuries.
How bad has your kid been hurt?
Good advice, Doctor. Now, how about the basic problem with patients? Well,
Look, you go down there and tell... Now, Judy? Yeah, you tell Judy to come up here and you stay with the kid, all right?
Action taken with regard to the Venus probe. In the cold room at the university, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. It was dead, but it opened its eyes and tried to move.
They want you upstairs. Did she ask for me?
She hasn't seen anything.
I don't understand. Baby. It's Mommy. I heard.
I'll come back down as soon as I find out what they want.
Thank you, Judy.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
well, how long after death, then, does the body become
Cremation is not easy.
It's only a matter of
It takes a very high temperature to
Well, that doesn't give people
burn
time
a
to
body
make any
that way.
arrangements.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements. The bodies must be carried to the street and burned. They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service will give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
I see.
Judy, I need you to find some bedspreads or sheets to tear up into small strips, okay? Is there a fruit cellar here?
Yes.
We need some bottles or jars to make Molotov cocktails and hold them off while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll look for the bottles.
There's a big key ring down there. There may be a key to the gas pump on it.
I'll check.
We can toss the cocktails from a window upstairs. Meantime, a couple of us can go out and try to get the gas and come back for the rest of the people.
But that'll leave a door open someplace.
Yeah, that's right. It better be this door. It's closer to the truck. Before we go out, we'll put some supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out back.
Convenient.
I'm not really that used to the truck. I found it abandoned.
I can handle the truck, no sweat.
You're it, then. You and I'll go. We'll put whatever lumber we find behind the cellar door. You can go upstairs and toss the cocktails from a window. Tom, you and I will have to unboard this door. After you toss the cocktails, you hustle back down here and lock this door. It's no good to board it up because we'll have to get back in quickly. After we get the gas and get back into the house, then we'll worry about getting everybody into the truck. Now let's move it.
No place to flee for safety, except to the rescue stations which have been set up. Indications are that
Kind of
before
curious.
this
I would
emergency is
believe
over,
that somebody has
we'll need many,
broken
many
down
more
the psychology of fear that this movie captures. We got the guy who they're all afraid, but Ben is, I'm pretty sure it's Ben, is trying to be a leader here, trying to get through it.
You always have a smile for me.
This guy,
How can you smile like that all the
he
time?
doesn't know what to do, but he's willing to follow.
How many do you have done?
Cooper, who's just he wants to just protect what he has.
Come on, honey,
That's
we
his
gotta
thing.
move.
Just protect. Just protect.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone
Tom,
is dead out.
Then
All you get
Barbara
is a recorded message.
just losing her head completely.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
Everything will be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
I know. Tom? Are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, the television said that's the right thing to do. We've got to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Come on, honey, you're starting to sound like Mr. Cooper now.
But why do you have to go out there?
Look, I know how to handle that truck, and I can handle the pump. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
But we're safe in here.
For how long, honey? We're safe now. But there's going to be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
Hey, listen. Remember when we had the big flood? Remember how difficult it was for us to convince you that it was right to
Only the
leave?
focus wasn't on his shoulder, but on his
Remember we
face.
had to go to Willard then? This isn't a passing thing, honey. It's not like just a wind passing through. We've got to do something, and fast.
I just don't want you to go out there, that's all.
Hey, Smiley. Where's that big smile for me? Boy, you're showing no use at all, are you? We've got work to do, honey. And you...
We better get her downstairs.
We have to go downstairs now, Barbara.
She's right. You have to go downstairs now, just for a little while, until we get back. Then we can all leave.
Oh, I'd like to leave. Yes.
Doesn't look like she has the shoes on, but it's hard to tell.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I would be a bit more careful with how I pull them out, so that I wouldn't ruin the nails. Like, try to pull it out straight if you can, so that you could just hammer them back in.
You ready upstairs? Yeah. Okay, toss them.
And realistically, he should have a tool. That he's just using that tool. And good thing that there was something hard enough there to break the glass bottle. Or maybe it would just be me with my luck that if I were to try to do something like that, I'd probably bound it. It's still work. The kerosene would still spill out, probably. And ignite. But it just...
Go ahead, go on!
I wouldn't be surprised if the mason jars didn't shatter.
I'm going with him.
Get back in the cellar.
I'm going.
It's too late. It's too late.
Well, is it coming? Come on. Get in.
I'm sorry, I'd be taking that thing up to actually look completely down the sights. Oh no, that's it. That they just lit on fire. First zombie we saw. The graveyard. Actually, no, that kind of looks like right there.
This key won't work.
Watch it. Watch the torch.
You gotta get away from the pump. Come on.
My jacket's caught.
Pretty sure that's not how that would happen. But on the right side, that would work for the cremation. Well, not really, but I mean, they'd be burned, so they shouldn't be up and at you in a few minutes. I mean, it makes more sense. That is a more stressful, more interactive. And this, I'm actually leaning back, and I could stretch the microphone arm a bit further. I can lean back. Also, it's cold. My foot is kind of freezing. The first one was fine. The second one, maybe, but this is, just ain't.
I drag you out there and feed you those things.
The fire adds flavor. Was that too dark a joke to make? But it does look like they are just grabbing turkey legs or something. That might be a ham bone. That doesn't even look like it's something to eat. That's a liver. That's... Okay, that's a hand. Now remember, it had been building up, because there had been multiple reports about them eating their victims.
Isn't it 3 o'clock yet? There's supposed to be another broadcast at 3 o'clock.
10 minutes.
Oh, only 10 more minutes? We don't have very long to wait. We can leave. Well, we'd better leave soon. It's 10 minutes to 3.
You know anything about this area at all? I mean, is Willard the nearest town?
I don't know. We were just trying to get to a motel before dark.
You said those things turned your car over. You think we can get it back on its wheels and drive it? Where is it?
Seems like it was pretty far away. Seems like we ran.
Forget it. It's at least a mile.
Johnny has the keys.
You gonna carry that child a mile through that army of things out there?
I can carry the kid. What's wrong with her? How'd she get hurt?
One of those things grabbed her.
Bit her on the arm.
What's wrong?
Who knows what kind of disease those things carry? Is she conscious?
Barely.
She can't walk. She's too weak.
They shouldn't carry any.
Well, one of us can try to get to the car.
You gonna turn it over by yourself?
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
You have a car? Where? Where is it?
You won't be able to start it.
Yeah, I know. But where is it?
Good Lord.
Being monitored closely by scientists at all the radiation detection stations. At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as this situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into the flesh-eating ghouls. All persons who die during this crisis, from whatever cause, will come back to life to seek human victims unless their bodies are first disposed of by cremation. Our news cameras have just returned from covering such a search and destroy operation against the ghouls, this one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report.
It's also interesting they identify them as ghouls in this, not as
and the
zombies.
military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials are quoted as explaining that since the brain of a ghoul has been activated by the radiation, the plan is kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Anything from the supply wagon, Cuz?
No, we're all right. Hey, Cass, put that thing all the way in the fire. We don't want it getting up again. All right, I got you.
Chief
Now-
McClellan, how's everything going?
Oh, things
Shouldn't
aren't
this
going
be
too
3
bad. Men are
a.m.?
taking it pretty good. You want to
That's-
get on the other side of the road over there?
Maybe it took a long time for the
defeat these things?
broadcast to get there.
Well, we killed 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. There wasn't, though. We heard them making all kind of noise. We came over and beat them off, blasted them down. Yeah, okay.
Chief, if I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot 'em in the head. That's a sure way to kill 'em. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat 'em or burn 'em. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of 'em there are. We know when we find 'em, we can kill 'em.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you ought to be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, we don't really know. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up with the National Guard over there, and then we'll be able to give a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill, WIC TV 11 News.
Thank you, Bill, for that report. Official spokesman declined to speculate just how long it may take to kill off all the flesh
Okay,
eaters.
it's dark outside.
As long as the
This is
heavy
why I'm
rain-
sitting right there.
Is the fuse box in the cellar?
I don't know. It isn't the fuse. The power lines are down. Helen, I have to get that gun.
Haven't you had enough?
Look, 2 people are dead already on account of that guy. Take a look out that window. Get.
We're coming to the end.
Go ahead. You want to stay up here now? Helen, get in the cellar. Get in the cellar now. Move!
He said they're not dead. Probably just not dead yet. He hasn't reanimated yet. And depending where he was shot, he might actually last for a while. Where's that light from? They lost power. And it's the middle of the night. she didn't make it. But at least Daddy's useful.
Oh, baby. Baby.
Kind of makes you think of Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte. If you've seen that movie. Guess she wants it tenderized? There's Johnny. In case you're wondering why he's not shooting, my guess is just the realization that there's more of them than there are bullets. And you need to get headshots to kill them. Anyways, will be killed. And that would not be enough, really. How the casting call went for getting this extra. Like, okay, we want you to show up in pajamas. Helen? Is that the mother's name? I don't know. I don't remember if she gets up. Fortunately, that light is right on her, so easy to see. Oh, she's getting up. Old bird cage there. He's just realizing the whole... He has no way out. It is all learned. And now it is a new day. Nice. Peace. And there's a heli. like the same spot that they recorded that interview with Chief. Which is probably just, you know, the whole low budget kind of thing. You use one location as much as you can.
Hey, Vince, Al, you want to get about 4 or 5 men and a couple dogs? There's a house over here behind those trees. We want to go check it out. You stay here, Bill.
Yeah, Chief, we're going to stay with it till we meet up with the National Guard.
Where'd you get the coffee?
One of the volunteers. You're doing all the work. You take it.
Thank you. We should be wrapped up here about 3 or 4 more hours, and we'll probably get into Willard then. I guess you can go over there and meet the National Guard. Nick, you and the rest of these men want to come with me?
Well, Bill, I'm check in the office, see what's happening. All right, Steve. Tell them we're going to stay with it, and everything appears to be under control.
We're going to the inside.
I realized I don't know if the video is going to repeat itself or not when it reaches the end, because we're almost at the end.
They need you down there by the barn. Guys can follow the wagon down. I only need a few men to check out the house.
So that's the truck.
Somebody had a cookout here, Vince.
Yeah, sure looks like it, Cop.
Okay, come over. Here's a group of police and the other cops. He's a dead one. Get up here. Nick, Tony, Steve, you want to get out in that field and build me a bonfire? You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire.
Nothing down here.
All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
And in the end, they didn't survive. Not one.
Send the wagon through directly on over.
It was also kind of impressive. That looked like it was a shotgun that he made that shot with.
Dogs back off of those things.
Alright. Okay, my heart rate did vary a fair amount. Now that I'm not... I'm playing the video in OBS, and I just set it to be the full screen projection. I'll let the credits run, of course. So now I can actually see the heart rate, and it goes up every single time I look at it. Like, once I become conscious of my pulse, it goes up. Yeah. There's something interesting looking at the meter for the mic. It really seems to be moving something. Yeah, I just realized something. Check.
Come ahead with the motorcycle,
That's
please.
a problem.
Let's go, Victor. That's the way. Sandy, light these torches over here. People in the back, way in the back.
Hello. I just realized I never set up the proper mixing of the audio tracks. Yeah, that could be a little bit of a problem. But anyway, I mean that just means I can't do any fancy. No, not that. That's what. I can't do any of the fancy mixing, which, as it was, I was already thinking I might not do it because I don't want to necessarily mess with the movie audio. Well, it also means I can't change the levels on my audio, so hopefully I've been loud enough. We'll just have to see. Alright, well, I'll have to do this all over again. Anyway, see you guys next time.